It's Friday of National Tourism Week, and I'm just finding out about it. And I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. I have no idea what National Tourism Week is. I think it's something like throw a fundraiser, wear a ribbon, and increase awareness. National Tourism Week. Let's plan 5 Michigan vacations, 5 random destinations in random order. That's what this episode is going to be about. And then for our photo tip, well, I think it's only fitting to be a tourist. Let's do some tourist photography. When we're on vacation, the one thing that we cannot control is the weather. Now, naturally, it never rains when we're on vacation. And the best condition of light that you can possibly photograph at any time is right around sunrise or right around sunset. But oftentimes we're stuck in a place photographing when it's in the midday sun, just like it is right here, right now. So that's what a majority of our tips are going to be about. In fact, let's just make it all of our tips, all of our photography tips are about photographing in the midday sun. Grab your camera and let's become a tourist. First on the list, Detroit. Yes, Detroit. I can work you out an itinerary for an extended weekend and you are going to love it and you're going to brag about it. If you're planning a trip to, say, Austin, Texas, San Francisco, California, or Atlanta, Georgia, I recommend Detroit. When staying in Detroit, I recommend either the Renaissance Center Marriott or the Courtyard Marriott. The reason I used to recommend these places is because on the ground floor of the Courtyard Marriott, there used to be a really cool restaurant for breakfast. They're not there anymore, so stay where you want. Back during the Roaring 20s, Detroit was emerging to become a truly world-class city. Now, it never had the opportunity to do so because it came on hard times, Prohibition era, and then the Depression, World War II, the race riots and those issues. All of those are now gone. The scars are deep, but Detroit is now becoming the great city that it can be once again. When it comes to culture, Detroit definitely has it. The DIA, Detroit Institute of Arts, the Art Museum. It is a fabulous place. Put it up against anything else in the United States. And the Henry Ford is what it's called these days. The Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village. You could spend a day, maybe 2 there. And I recently heard it said, you know, this place is keeping up with all those other places. No. The Henry Ford is the benchmark of museums. To me, this one's a no-brainer because I'm a baseball guy. You got to take in a Tigers game. One of the great ones is playing for the Tigers, Miguel Cabrera. Maybe you can be just like one of those old-timers someday to say, hey, I saw Miguel Cabrera play. You got to explore Greektown and find something to eat. It's just that my favorite place to eat in Greektown is the best pizza in all of Michigan, and that's Pizzapopolis. And also Hard Rock Cafe. You got to check out the Hard Rock Cafe. The midday sun is the worst. I mean, as far as sunshine goes, it's great because it does tend to make colors much more vibrant. But what we want to look at is my shadow here. The shorter the shadows, the worst. And then on top of that, if you are going to be photographing in the direction that your shadow is facing, unfortunately that makes things even worse. And sometimes when you're on vacation, you can't help the placement of you, the subject you're photographing, or the time of day you're doing it. But if you can, move around. Another important tourism photography tip is make sure you always have a lot of film. Double check, make sure. Do I have film in here? Yes, we do. I probably shouldn't have done that. Second on the list, the Western Upper Peninsula. The Upper Peninsula is an awesome destination east to west. We're just going to stick it out in the western half. We're going to start at the Black River National Scenic Byway and the Porcupine Mountains Presque Isle. 2 rivers right next to each other. Lots of waterfalls. Nothing like this though, I can promise you that. After you've checked out all of those waterfalls on those 2 rivers, keep going into the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park and explore, explore, explore. There are several short hikes you can take, or you can just get lost in the park for the entire day and you wouldn't really be lost. Bring a map. An optional but very highly recommended part of your Western Upper Peninsula excursion, the Keweenaw Peninsula. You want history, it's there. Culture, it's there. You want rustic, it's there. And find yourself a really nice, quaint bed and breakfast. After we've taken a picture of something and made a photograph, we've taken something from our majestic 3-dimensional world and brought it down to a simple 2-dimensional plane. Now our light source can help define and reintroduce that three-dimensional figure. So depending on the direction of the light, we can detect texture and shape. So let's take a photo of Mount Rushmore here. It's not really Mount Rushmore, this is all I've got on such short notice. We'll call it a slide at the beach. We're going to take a picture of it and then we'll take a look at it. Lens cap is on. Something's wrong. Oh, file full. File full. I need to get another disc. Third on the list, Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Also in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. This place is becoming more and more popular. Get to it, visit there, spend a week there before this place becomes the next Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Pictured Rocks, beautiful, rustic, natural, and still unspoiled. I highly recommend staying in Munising or around Munising. Perhaps rent a cabin and call that your central hub, your headquarters. Once in your lifetime, you gotta see a waterfall drop off a cliff into a wide open body of water, and that is Spray Falls. You can take the 7-mile round trip hike. If you do it right, it takes about 6 hours, pack a lunch, or see it twice. You can do it by water also, either take the cruise, or I highly recommend renting a pontoon. We're at our favorite tourist destination, and we've got one of our favorite tourist attractions, a shrubbery. And you can see where I'm positioned here. My shadow is pointing directly at the shrubbery here. So we're gonna snap a picture of it. Now the sunshine on it gives it wonderful, vibrant colors. But what I wanna do here is move 90 degrees and as you can see here, so much more detail with the highlights and the shadows contrasting one another. Fourth on the list, Mackinac Island. Mackinac Island, my favorite place on this planet, hands down. Go there for a week and relax, or stay overnight or do a single day trip and cram everything in, be a tourist, buy some fudge. This place is happening and it's bustling. Or if you want it to be, it is one of the most peaceful and relaxing places you will ever be. One of the great things about Mackinac Island is that it's a small island. You can walk to practically everywhere. I recommend leaving your car off the island. Well, because you have no choice. No cars allowed on Mackinac Island. This is a personal preference of mine. I prefer Arnold's Ferry to get to Mackinac Island. Once you get on the island, Arnold's Ferry will drop you off right across the street from Carriage Tours, and I recommend doing that. Yes, it's a very touristy thing to do, just like buying fudge on Mackinac Island is. Take the carriage tour, get a feel for what's on the island, and then at the end of that route, it'll drop you off right in front of Fort Mackinac, which I also highly recommend touring. Like I said, Mackinac Island is a place to relax if you want to, or if you do choose to stay overnight, and if you're staying downtown, that place is like a college campus town.
Hi, I'm Johnny Lunchbox, and as you can see here, I got a camera. So that must mean I'm really creative.
In this example of our make-believe Mount Rushmore, we know what it is. We identify the shapes and shadows and textures here. If we step aside a little bit, we see more definition, more shape, more texture. Same thing with our make-believe Johnny Lunchbox. With the sun directly behind us, shining straight on him, we can still see some texture, but if we step to the side a little bit, maybe a little off the beaten path perhaps, a lot more definition, a lot more detail. And again, in no particular order, I'm picking where I'm at right now, my home, Muskegon. The funny thing is that Muskegon is already a mega tourist attraction, but you've never really heard of it being that way, because if you ask somebody, hey, where did you go on summer vacation? They might say, went to Lake Michigan. What that really means is they probably went to Hoffmaster State Park or Muskegon State Park, but they don't say that. Or maybe they went to Michigan's Adventure, Amusement Park and Water Park. but they don't say Muskegon. So this is the itinerary that we're going to set up for you. We're going to be in Muskegon. We're going to visit all these great places, and it's going to be a great tourist attraction, Muskegon. I got to admit, sometimes I cringe a little bit when I hear the term microbrew because they're popping up all over the place. Here in Muskegon on Western Avenue, flanking each end, we've got 2 of them. They're really great, they're really quaint, and there's only 2 of them. So I think we're proud of something that's really cool that way. I should also mention they're really good. And let me throw another twist in for you. If your destination is Muskegon and you happen to like festivals, big or small, we've got some huge ones. We've got the Unity Christian Music Festival. We've got Rockstock. We've got the Lakeshore Arts Festival. These are all huge festivals. And when there's not a festival going on, that is when there's not a major festival going on, every Friday downtown is parties in the park. Drink beer for a charitable cause, meet up with some good friends, and listen to a great band. Naturally, you don't have to go camping. In fact, my idea of roughing it is staying at a place without room service. This place has room service. We've got all the cool cultural stuff. We've got the museum, we've got the art museum. We've got museums that float, for crying out loud. Why? We can do that because it's on fresh water. We've got the LST from World War II, and we've got a submarine from World War II. Being a tourist is all about making memories with friends and family and loved ones, and enjoying our favorite destinations and attractions. How we record those memories is up to you. I recommend getting off the beaten path and maybe even step to the side a little bit. Let's do a real quick slideshow of our 5 destinations, and as we go through these, quiz yourself. Look at the shadows. What time of day were these taken? Doesn't matter the destination, just be a tourist, bring your camera, have a great time. That's how that's done. I'm John with Picture Michigan. Keep pulling that trigger. Every once in a while, I like it when a fire truck is in my picture because it's bonus. This is one of my favorite places to eat, not because the food is great, but because they got a kick-ass patio up top, great burgers, great beers, great views. At least great views now, because the spot I am standing on, amongst many others here, used to be trees at the Convention and Visitor Bureau headquarters that blocked the awesome view of Muskegon Lake. Oh, I'm so looking forward to sitting up on that balcony and enjoying a beer and a burger and some awesome views. Once again, thank you, CVB. I'll be nice from now on.